The aim of the union from Salacas to Rūjai is to see active and creative people in a harmonic, economically and socially adjusted environment. The mission of the union is to understand the necessities of the inhabitants of the territory, then formulate them and seek the funds necessary to fulfill them. We are open to hearing new ideas and we encourage everyone to actively participate in the management of projects, from an idea to a result. The union from Salacas to Rūjai was established in 2006 by the municipalities, countryside businessmen and non-governmental organizations from the region of Valmiera. The goal of the union is to involve the inhabitants of the countryside in carrying out useful projects. The main activity in achieving the goal was the strategy creation for the development of the territory. A significant amount of volunteers participated in this work. They are not just the inhabitants, but also the countryside development consultants of parishes and the employees of non-governmental organizations and municipalities. The union has received funding for carrying out projects till 2013. This is a chance for development of the territory. Activists of the union dedicated the year 2007 to studies. 2 initiative groups acquired the skills of activating countryside inhabitants and involving them in small-scale project development and management, as well as how to generate ideas, how to cooperate so that we understand our priorities, and how to handle problems. At the end of the year, we went to Estonia and Finland to exchange experiences. A lot of valuable knowledge and ideas from this trip were incorporated in the strategy of developing our territory, which was being created all the way through the year 2008. The union has highlighted such strategy priorities. Firstly, developing businesses in our territory of operation, and secondly, providing the availability of basic services and diversificating them. The big task of 2009 was to start the projects according to the confirmed strategy. The unions and businessmen were the examples of activity. All in all, there were 17 projects submitted, and each of them solved a significant need of our territory. The granted funding was 82,882.78 lats, but the demanded sum was much bigger, 186,824.98 lats. The union from Salacas to Rūjai vigorously started the year 2010. The most important objectives were the annunciation of the second round for the project competition, informing the inhabitants, businessmen and organizations about the opportunity to write projects, making amendments to the strategy, as well as supervising the approved projects. In May 2010, the union from Salacas to Rūjai organized an experience exchange trip to Germany. The aim was to find out about the development of countryside territories in Gütersloh and Rhine-Palatinate. We were interested in finding out how the local communities and businessmen acquire European Union funds in these areas. During this visitation, we organized a meeting and seminars with the local action group specialists, businessmen and managers of municipalities for the participants of the trip. In a seminar held in the City Hall of Upper Middle Rhine City Bacharach, organized by the local action group of World Heritage, we got acquainted with all of the project presentations that were sponsored by Leader. We decided that the most interesting project of all was one called Midsummer Night of Culinary. It is a spectacular event that involves tasting the production of local farmers, highlighting the distinguished wines of Rhine Valley, traditional pretzels and smoked meat goods. 99,250 euros are being spent to fund this event. Leader co-finances 59,550. A funding of another project called The Celebration of Wine and Countryside Goods is also being spent to attract tourists. 25,000 euros are being spent on it. Leader co-finances 10,000 euros. In July 2010, the Countryside Women Association of Region Valmiera gathered a large number of countryside women to summer school events to inform them about the many opportunities to write projects. They were businesswomen, housewives, teachers, as well as adolescents. The organizers of this creative and interesting event, the Countryside Women Association and the Union Dandelion Fluff, are both non-governmental organizations that took part in founding the union from Salacas to Rūjai. A Latvian woman from countryside is creative, has a rich soul, she's uniquely beautiful, smart, willing and able. The union from Salacas to Rūjai supports all sorts of projects and hopes to see women organizations to remain as active as now. The aim of the project We'll Sing For You Fatherland, introduced by the union song ensemble Anuja, is to invest in native treasures. The funding will be spent on making authentic national costumes that come from the north of District Vidzeme. The masters of weaving, sewing and knitting were invited from the Rūjai area. The weavers spent countless hours by the loom, and eventually they had weaved almost 100 meters of striped weave skirt fabric and almost 50 meters of white wool tartans. The linen shirts and the women's head ornament of District Vidzeme called tower hat were hand embroidered. However, traditional hair laces will adorn the heads of daughters. A pair of laced cotton socks that are secured with colorful bands below the knee are knitted for each of the singers. The shoemakers were found in the area of Tukums, and they made black leather shoes for each of the singers individually, but the silver brooches were forged by the masters from Baltic Adornments. This is how a Latvian woman must dress for a celebration. The Union Family Support Center Spikelet of District Rūjai is actively involved in shaping the environment, as well as strengthening active society and family values. A playground has been built for the children. The ideological solution for the playground is in Japanese style, where the main characteristic is the usage of visible forms to create an inner experience. This playground differs from others by being laconic and minimalistic. It reflects the friendship of Rūjai and the Higashikawa city in Japan, and also complements the Sakura birch grove that's located just 100 meters from the playground. The year 2011 has to be started out not only with new plans, but also by evaluating the success of the previous year. Compilate the work done in the year 2010. This is an objective for the leader of the union from Salacas to Rūjai, Ojārs Beķeris. The members of the union's board and committees have precisely formulated the tasks for developing the union and to achieve said goals. That is why in the first meeting of 2011 they want to find out if they weren't too ambitious. The tasks were to develop the capacity of non-governmental organizations and businesses in the union's territory of operation, to make work groups and partner organizations for solving the countryside development problems in local, regional, national and international scale, to coordinate and attract financial, material, intellectual and other kinds of resources in order to achieve the strategical goal of the union from Salacas to Rūjai. An experience exchange trip was organized also in the year 2011. The objective was to get acquainted with the management of leader projects in the area of Pillerzetal, Austria. The main task was to announce the second stage of the project competition. 22 projects were submitted and evaluated. 20 of them were accepted. The announced funding was much smaller than the demand. So the union's board made a decision to use the extra funding given by the Ministry of Agriculture, which was 133,877 lats. The activity and used opportunities of the union can only be described as excellent, because the total funding that was attracted in order to carry out the projects as part of the strategy was 325,885 lats. The Union Development Center White Knights carry out their activities in the parish of Ipiķi, district of Rūjai, which is the most northern parish by the border of Estonia. The union was founded in the year 2008 with the purpose of establishing better cooperation between existing groups of interests, municipality and businessmen, motivating people to establish active social life, broaden contacts and to take part in the processes occurring in the society, as well as realizing the necessities of people living in the country and to improve the quality of their lives. The Union Development Center White Knights has attracted the funding of Leader for the project of landscaping territory. We are for River Sapraša, River Sapraša is for us. There has been established a landscaped site for travelers, bicycle tourists. The place is located quite close to the border of Estonia. and perhaps it will become popular amongst tourists in the near future. The total finance resources of the project add up to 13,987 lats. It includes the funding of LEADER, 12,588 lats, and the co-funding of the Union, 1,399 lats. The mission of the Union Manor of Vuoleri is to promote culture and education in the districts of Vidzeme. The aim of the LEADER project 90th Century Garden Sports Games and Entertainment in the Manor of Vuoleri, established by the Union, is to reconstruct the historical form of the Manor Park, using small forms of architecture and by making authentic ancient garden games. Taking an example from the album from the late 90th century, there has been made an arbor, gardener's house, benches, and swing sets. The arbor and the benches have been placed in their historical whereabouts. An inventory of the historical games have been made, a swing, the games King, and puck driving. The project of the Union is a significant investment in preserving ancient manor culturally historical values. The total finance resources of the project add up to 17,999 lats. It includes the funding of LEADER, 16,199 lats, and the co-funding of the Union, 1,800 lats. The Union Live Actively is a group of collaborators that support and want to popularize active lifestyle from the district of Burtnieki. The Union organizes different activities, events and competitions for spending the free time outdoors. The aim is to organize hikes, boat rides and bicycle tours, therefore giving a chance for people to actively spend their free time and keep fit. The funding of the project LEADER has been spent on purchasing sports equipment for boat rides and bicycling. The participants of the Union get the most joy and sense of accomplishment when realizing that they have done everything to improve the health and mood of people by organizing the sports activities. The total finance resources of the project add up to 13,962 lats. It includes the funding of LEADER, 12,567 lats, and the co-funding of the Union, 1,396 lats. The parish of Kuocēni is proud of its House of Culture, which was built in the year 1980. The actions of Kuocēni House of Culture are directed towards the core values of culture, that are culturally historical heritage, traditions, the evolvement of cultural environment. Sadly, in the course of time, Kuocēni House of Culture mortally and physically aged and didn't serve its purpose. That's why the reconstruction of it was vitally important. The District Council executed the project of reconstructing the House of Culture by attracting the resources of European Union's Structural Fund. However, the funding of LEADER was received by the project Sonorous Culture Events in Kuocēni. A modern acoustic system was bought. This project provides people with qualitative cultural services for amateur collectives and external professional artists. Now it is possible to organize qualitative seminars and conferences and involve people in social activities. The total finance resources of the project add up to 16,153 lats. It includes the funding of LEADER, 10,012 lats, and the co-funding of the Union, 6,141 lats. The BMX Sports Club Stālava from district of Burtnieki purpose is to popularize and develop sports in the district of Vidzeme and in Latvia, to achieve high scores, organize sports events, and compete in the Olympic Games. Sports Club Stālava can be proud of its highest scoring sportsmen in BMX, like the Beijing Olympic champion Māris Strombergs, the silver medalist of World Championship and 4-time gold medalist of European Championship Ivo Lakučs, 2-time gold medalist of European Championship and World Championship for Juniors, and a gold medalist of European Championship in the elite group, Artūrs Matisons, as well as the newcomers, Eģus Streimanis, 2nd place in the European Championship year 2011, and Kristers Lejiņš, 2nd place in the World Championship for Juniors. The funding of LEADER was intended for building a BMX track which suits the Olympic standards, so that Latvian sportsmen can fully prepare for the Olympics. The existing BMX track was reconstructed, supplementing it with a starting pier, an exact copy of a starting pier used in the Olympics. The first straight and a curved, which connects with the existing track. The total finance resources of the project add up to 19,782 lats. It includes the funding of LEADER, 17,803 lats, and the co-funding of the Union, 1,978 lats. The Union Lakeshore AZ has been established in the year 2010 to create the necessary environment and infrastructure for the active leisure and sports activities in the district of Burtnieki. The Union defined their task as organizing active leisure and sports events, popularizing healthy lifestyle, encouraging people's physical and mental evolvement, offering different leisure and free time opportunities by the Lake of Burtnieki and in it. The funding of Leader was received by the project Windsurfing and Boat Riding Center establishment in Burtnieki. It provided with the opportunity to purchase surfing boards and boats, as well as organizing lessons in sailing and boat riding. The total finance resources of the project add up to 13,045 lats. It includes the funding of Leader, 11,740 lats, and the co-funding of the Union, 1,305 lats. The adolescents of district of Naukšēni are full of hope of getting their own indoor space where events can take place and where they can spend their free time. The Adolescent Union Kingdom of Nurmi project's purpose is to establish a gathering house by rebuilding a house in the town Nurmi, Noras. The house is going to be used for necessities of the town's inhabitant club of interests, such as holding lectures, meetings, unifying events, and the giving and offering of services. This will strengthen the spirit and mutual cooperation of the local inhabitants. A construction firm performs the repairs in the house Noras, but local inhabitants and adolescents are attracted for the vicinity landscaping and tidying of the premise. It is a voluntary job. The total finance resources of the project add up to 20,000 lats. It includes the funding of Leader, 18,000 lats, and the co-funding of the Union, 2,000 lats. The Union REG was founded in the year 2005. Its actions involve organizing sports activities. Floorball, football, table tennis, and mass event organizing such as bicycle racing and marathons. The Union is active in the city of Salacas and organizes events in the near vicinity. In the year 2010, it was awarded with the status of an organization of social wellness. The Union has ensured its existence by closely cooperating with municipalities, other interested organizations, and sports enthusiasts. The funding of Leader was obtained for the project, the purchase of necessary equipment to diversify and improve the quality of sports activities, electronic competition result fixating and processing system for the Union REG. The purchased equipment provides more accurate fixating of the achieved results, allows every participant to operatively evaluate the abilities in the given stage, compare them to the competitors to determine the training process in the future. The purchased system gives the chance to implement much more activities involving more people and a wider array of disciplines, and contributes to people choosing a physically active and healthy lifestyle. The total finance resources of the project add up to 19,998 lats. It includes the funding of Leader, 17,998 lats, and the co-funding of the Union, 2,000 lats. The Union Latvian Steak Club attracted the funding of Leader for the project Eat What You Wish to Preserve. The aim of the project was to purchase a mobile multifunctional grill and thermal equipment for storing meat. A service will be provided, preparing cattle meat and tutoring the interested in abilities associated with obtaining healthy and delicious food products. The meat products of cattle will be obtained from bulls bred entirely in Latvia. This will promote the evolvement of cattle breeders. The total finance resources of the project add up to 13,000 lats. It includes the funding of Leader, 11,700 lats, and the co-funding of the Union, 1,300 lats. With the funding of Leader for the project As I Sung As It Sounded, the Union Cats have made a contemporary and aesthetically enjoyable design for their choir collective. There have been outfits embroidered according to the mentalities of the singers. A costume designer was invited to take part in this project who modeled the fundamental outfit, which will be supplemented by a tunic or accessories performing different programs and repertoire. The total finance resources of the project add up to 5,604 lats. It includes the funding of Leader, 5,044 lats, and the co-funding of the Union, 561 lats.